Here's a good one where a boss absolutely refused to give a managerial promotion to one of her employees after this female employee started acting like a boss, bitch, and a total jerk to one of the coworkers and got passed over. And now this female employee is playing the victim card and all that. And I'll be going to go over here, guys, because I don't think there's any of you out there that hasn't had the experience of dealing with a female employee, coworker, or boss who started acting like a tyrant and really made the whole situation miserable, and you were kind of in a rock and a hard place situation. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not giving a woman a promotion at work because I saw her clap every word after every word when telling someone how to do something? And a shout out to Ash for sending me this story. It says here, at my company, we recently had a position come up for a supervisor in our warehouse. I wanted to promote from within, so I put a notice up that anyone is welcome to apply, and I'll consider everyone. It's an extra £5 an hour, so I had a lot of people apply. I've also been recruiting in the warehouse as it gets busy and took on another 10 members of staff. I always try and pay £5 an hour above market average to make sure I get better applicants, but it also means I get a hell of a lot of applicants. Hiring these 10 people meant sifting through 1,000 applications. Whoa! Now, I don't know what the current rate is, the market rate is, but okay, £5 more an hour. That sounds like a pretty good deal. So a lot of applicants. Eventually, I got the 10 I wanted. I wanted to keep them as they are great. One of the new starters is quite a timid woman in her early 20s. On her second day, she asked one of the women who works there, named Heather, where to put a certain item once it's been unpacked. I was walking past when I heard Heather let out a big sigh and say, now she says this like an obnoxious jerk while clapping, so bear with me, but something to the effect of like, I told you this yesterday for you to effing learn, while clapping. I was fuming. I hate when people try to act like this and type that on social media, but to hear one of my senior employees talk to a young new starter like that on her second day really pissed me off. Yeah, nobody's going to know everything on their second day or first day, even first week. But let's do the math here. Young employee who's like 20 years old, early 20s, versus older female employee probably doesn't like her. Ding, 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 a little tyrant. I told Heather I wanted to see her in my office straight away. I was honest with her and said that out of all the applications for the supervisor role, she was in my top 3 that I was considering, but I will now not be considering her at all. Good. Because someone like this doesn't belong in a managerial role. She is going to make people quit. You know, people usually leave jobs not necessarily because of the company, but because of their a-hole bosses. This is not how you motivate somebody, and this, by the way, this is obviously, I think it's a woman telling this story, and this is her company. She asked why, and I told her, I said, after what I just saw, I believe she'd be the type that would let and sort of power and authority to get into her head and treat people cruelly. Well, she's right. I said she was just asking a simple question, but a new starter, and she proceeded to embarrass her and belittle her in front of her coworkers, and is not the sort of person I want supervising a team of 20. Good. This woman's the owner. She's the boss. She can do whatever the hell she wants. But, of course, the victim card here. She was so angry and has lodged a complaint saying it's unfair, she's no longer being considered for the job, and she feels she's being victimized for the way she communicates. I don't think I'm an a-hole for not giving her the job, but am I the a-hole for telling her why she's not getting it now rather than just dealing with the applications and telling her afterwards that she's not successful? I suppose it can be seen as a big petty of me. No, you have a right to, first of all, it's your company, and she's over in the UK, so maybe, because she said I was looking in the comments, she owns the company. And this woman lodged a complaint. I don't know who she lodged the complaint with because this is her company. Maybe some outside government agency. It's the UK. Anything can happen. But she has a right to do this. But, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You keep a manager like that, particularly a female one, and they obviously upset and belittle employees, cause problems, and it hurts business and morale, and you get more turnover employees, and that costs money to business to train people. Or you don't hire them or you can them, and then they play the victim card and claim all this BS. It's just a never-ending cycle. And you hear more about this type of crap from a certain gender than the other one. And you all know what I'm talking about here. But no, she did the right thing. And I don't think there's anyone who hasn't worked for some douchebag, asshole manager, whether it's a man or a woman. I had a manager like this once when I was a kid. When I was 17, I was working in a restaurant. And it was a really nice restaurant. I liked it. I worked hard. I worked fast. I picked things up quickly. And they got a new hire, a female manager by the name of Jessica. No joke there. And I always make fun of Jessica's. And right away, because I was young, she was on my ass, but she was on everybody's ass about everything, trying to prove herself and move up in management. And she was on my ass about everything. At one point, she wanted me to write a note and put it in my pocket to remind myself to do such things. It was ridiculous. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I didn't care if she fired me at this point because there were other managers above her and they liked me. And I said, no, I'm not going to write this note and put it in my pocket. I'll do the job. That's just ridiculous. I'm 17, but it'll be done. I've proven through my actions I'll do the job right, or whatever she wanted. Well, interestingly enough, my show of strength stopped her. She respected that and never pulled that crap again with me. And I did my job right, proving myself, and we got along fine. But other people, she was a freaking tyrant to, because a lot of them didn't have the balls to stand up to her. And so those types definitely can come. Eventually, she was relocated to a different restaurant for other people to deal with her. But the point is, that could damage morale, and you don't need that. But then again, you handle it accordingly, and then next thing you know, this is a victim card. So round and round you go. Anyhow, so no, she's not the a-hole, and I think she did a good job handling this thing, but this is the type of things you deal with when you own a company and have employees, Now some comments here. One guy says, you're not the a-hole. It wasn't petty, it was direct. Her inability to communicate in a professional and respectful manner is the exact reason she's being passed up. And if she has any brains at all, she'll take it to heart. Doesn't matter about brains. Her emotions are doing all the thinking. She has been, a victim here. And she wants revenge. Another one says, imagine complaining that you're not getting a promotion because you're incapable of not being an a-hole to your coworkers. Hopefully she'll get laughed out of any HR meeting. Probably not, because usually people that raise the most hell get what they want. Another one, not the a-hole, you're great. Thank you for protecting your employees like that. You didn't do anything wrong except for the timing of your delivery. You could have waited to make the supervisor announcement and talked up the qualities you promoted the person for. Then when Heather asked why she wasn't chosen, you could again highlight those qualities. Ask her how she thinks she does on those. Gather feedback from other employees, then calmly explain why you overheard this and did not demonstrate empathy. And then you'd be happy to work with her in communication style so that she can be considered for the next time a role opens up. Listen to all that shit. I mean, that's just ridiculous. No, you were a fucking asshole. You're not getting the job. That's how it should be handled. But all this, do this, do that, do this, sugarcoating thing. The fucking world we live in here. Did you also apologize and talk to the employee who was scolded to explain your lack of tolerance for that behavior? I'm sure this boss did that. Because that shit, I'm telling you, this Heather chick who was being the a-hole here probably just saw a young female employee. She's probably pretty, didn't like her because of that, and let's be honest here. And one more. Honestly, I think you did the right thing. It sounds like Heather's behavior is petty, unacceptable, and especially for someone in a more senior position. Clapping after every word, that's a level of condensation that's hard to ignore, and it's definitely not the attitude you want in a supervisor. It's great you're promoting from within and considering your employees for a higher role, and you have a right to prioritize the kind of environment that you want to create. A supervisor should be someone who supports and encourages their team, not belittles them. By being upfront with Heather about why she's not being considered, you gave her the chance to reflect on her actions instead of just letting her continue the behavior unchecked. Well, all it takes is just that one bad apple spoils a bunch. And there you go. And a bad manager? Oh. And again, I'm sure all of you guys, at some point in your lives, your careers, dealt with some jackass like that. And it really is true. People don't quit jobs often because of the company. It's because of a-hole managers that are, you get the point. So, good for her.